Does it ever feel like you're married to a ghost? I asked into the empty kitchen, perched on the edge of the marble countertop, my phone flashlight illuminating the rows of numbers on our bank statement. The screen glowed in the dimness, highlighting withdrawals and deposits so large they made me dizzy. Six-figure sums deposited in our joint account every week, all labeled cryptically: Alpha Service, Premium Access, Global Solutions. I scrolled again, heart pounding. $320,000. Last week, I snapped the phone shut and leaned back, nearly tipping from the counter. My husband, Jack, was a devoted dad, a practical project manager for a modest tech firm, and yet here were hundreds of thousands of dollars flowing through an account I'd never seen before. All while he lectured me on budgeting every time I dared to ask him about our finances. "Stop being paranoid," he'd say. "You're imagining things." But this week, I knew I wasn't imagining. It started on Monday morning when I logged into our online banking to transfer money for Chloe's ballet lessons. I tapped the Recent Transactions tab and rubbed my eyes at the list. Beneath our usual mortgage debit and our car payment stood a deposit of $95,000 from Alpha Service. I swiped down. Another deposit, $148,000 from Global Solutions. My coffee mug slipped from my fingers, splattering coffee across the counter. I called Jack at work. "Sweetheart," his voice on the speaker sounded half asleep. "I need to ask you something." He sighed. "What is it?" "Who is Alpha Service and Global Solutions?" My voice wobbled. He cleared his throat. "Just transfers from a side project I've been tinkering with. Nothing to worry about." "You never mentioned a side project," I said, blinking back tears of bewilderment. "Especially not one making six figures." He laughed, a short, tight sound. "I've told you a million times. I'm working on some small stuff. Online. Testing the waters. It's not real money yet." I stared at the screen. Real money. If it's not real, then why is it in our account? This isn't pocket change. This is life-changing money. He sighed again, exasperated. "You're overreacting. Just business testing. They auto-pay me until I figure out a withdrawal schedule." My palms were slick. "Business testing doesn't deposit hundreds of thousands." He ducked the question. "I have deadlines. I'll explain later." That was my cue. I hung up and launched into research, my panic morphing into determination. I opened my laptop and Googled Alpha Service Payments and Global Solutions online. Platform patterns emerged. Hundreds of forum posts praising a digital course for micro-investing in niche e-commerce. They mentioned a founder named JS with an uncanny knack for finding hot products and automating sales funnels. A photo in one blog sidebar caught my breath, a hoodie-clad man leaning over a laptop in a co-working space. His profile picture was pixelated, but the glasses, the neatly trimmed beard, the slight smirk, it was him. My heart pounded as I scrolled further. Testimonials from people claiming they'd become millionaires in months, sold on a pro masterclass priced at $9,995. I clicked a link to a payment portal. Orders processed by TechTracker LLC, the same company name I'd seen on my bank deposit descriptions, and the email confirmation. Order hashtag TS4571. "Thank you, Jack, for enrolling in the Pro Masterclass." I sank into the couch, pressing my palm to my forehead. Jack had invested in this program himself, or worse, he was the mastermind behind it. I gripped the edge of the cushion, recalling how he'd spent late nights on his laptop, claiming he was doing overtime at the office. I remembered the nervous twitch at 7 p.m. dinners when his phone lit up with messages he refused to share, the hushed whispers about testing conversions and scaling the ad spend. Everything clicked. The scheme, the hush, the puzzle pieces of his secret behavior. My mind raced. How many lives had he changed? Who were the students paying him 5-figure tuition? And why did he pretend I didn't exist when he was the one raking in the cash? I needed answers. I needed proof. I opened my email and searched for receipt and LLC. Nothing. He'd used a separate email, another identity. I scoured my phone for any clue, no. Forwarded invoices, no receipts. He had compartmentalized this business perfectly, every digital footprint on a server I couldn't trace. I took a deep breath and dialed my best friend, Emma. Hey, can you meet me at the cafe? Urgent. Within an hour, I poured my discovery onto the table between us. Bank statements, screenshots of the e-commerce forum, the lone blog post with his photo. Emma's eyes grew wide. Holy crap, Sarah! This is huge. I nodded, tears threatening. He's been lying to me for months. Hundreds of thousands of dollars. I don't know what to do. She squeezed my hand. First, confirm it. Then confront him. And decide whether you too can. Weather the storm. As we sat there, the cafe's murmur fading around us, I realized that the man I trusted with my life had built a secret empire, and I was just finding out. My heart ached with betrayal and fear. How deep was his deception? And what would this mean for our marriage, our future, and the life we were supposed to be building together? Tonight, I demand the truth, because I couldn't face another day not knowing which husband was the real one, the one planning our daughter's Halloween costume, or the one orchestrating million-dollar sales funnels in the dark. And so, with my best friend by my side, I steeled myself for the confrontation that would decide everything. That evening, I waited in the dim glow of our dining room chandelier, the confrontation binder spread out before me on the table, printouts of bank statements, screenshots from that e-commerce forum, the payment confirmation from Tech Tracker LLC. My hands trembled as I heard Jack's key in the front door. He stepped in, shrugging off his blazer, a tired smile on his face. Everything all right? He asked, setting his phone beside the vase of wilting tulips. I motioned to the binder. We need to talk. Now. His smile vanished. He sank into the chair opposite me, eyes flicking to the evidence. Sarah, I can explain. I cut him off. Start with Alpha Service. Explain how $320,000 ended up in our account last week. He ran a hand through his hair, swallowing. Alpha Service is my course platform, Pro Masterclass. I created it last year. It's a coaching business teaching people to sell products online. I leaned forward. You created it and enrolled yourself as a student for $9,995. His gaze dropped. I tested the system on myself first by stealing nearly $250,000 from our joint account. He flinched. It wasn't stealing. I own that money. I withdrew it for operating expenses, hosting, fees, ads, designer contracts. I slammed my hand on the binder. And you thought hiding it from me was okay? You spent evenings telling me you had overtime deadlines while you were orchestrating the solo venture. He exhaled, pinching his forehead. I was terrified you'd say no. I thought if I showed you the profits, you'd forgive the secrecy. Forgive? I spat. There's no forgiveness for this kind of deceit. You ghosted me and our daughter so you could party hop and build an empire behind my back. He winced at my words. That's not fair. The parties were networking events, industry meetups. To build credibility. I stared at him, stunned. Networking. Posting videos of you spray painting a DJ booth with glitter and shouting, "Let's get wild," counts as industry credibility. He ran his hands across the table. Some of it was performative, but the real work happened. Online, webinars, funnel optimization, affiliate recruitment. I closed my eyes, forcing myself to breathe. I need specifics. He nodded, voice quieter. Okay. Alpha Service is a Udemy-style platform I program myself. I hired a small team overseas, programmers, copywriters, graphic designers. We launched 500 courses at $999 each. But most students opted for the Pro Masterclass at $9,995. That's where the real money is. I opened to the bank ledger. Payment hashtag TS4571, $9,995, Jack Harrison, Pro Masterclass. I tapped the line. You sold 30 seats last month. That's $299,850. Minus your costs, what half? You netted $150,000. And that's only 1 month. He swallowed hard. Correct. I shook my head in disbelief. So our life, our agreed-upon budget, my choice is to stay home. With Chloe half-time, was built on half your truth. Why? He leaned back. Exhaustion etched on his face. I was embarrassed. I didn't want you to think I was chasing some pipe dream. I thought I could prove it first, then show you I was successful. I felt my heart crack. Prove it by hiding it. Tears stung my eyes. I believed in you, I whispered. I believed in us. And you sold me a lie. He stood and walked to the mantel, running his fingers across Chloe's framed handprints. No. I'm so sorry. I gathered the binder. I need time, I said, voice shaking. Time to decide if I can keep trusting you. If this marriage can survive being built on half-lives and hidden ledgers. He came to me, eyes red. Please give me that time. I'll answer any question. I'll give you every password. I'll close the business if you want. I just don't want to lose you. I pulled away. Maybe I need space, I said softly. I placed the binder on the table. I'll stay with my sister for a few nights. He nodded, swallowing. I understand. I packed a small overnight bag and drove to my sister's house, tears threatening with every stoplight. She greeted me with a hug and offered tea in her cozy living room. I spilled out the story again, and she listened, rage and sorrow mirrored in her eyes. Maybe he thought he was protecting you, she said gently. But what matters is what you need now. That night, I lay in my sister's guest room, staring at the ceiling. The moonlight felt cold on my face. I thought of our life, the shared pillow, the inside jokes, the bedtime routines. All of it now felt tainted by his ambition and fear. I didn't know if I could ever look at him the same way. But beneath the heartbreak, a small ember of understanding glowed. He hadn't sought to harm us. He'd sought to build for us, in his own flawed way. Could I forgive that? Could we rebuild? With transparency at the center? My phone buzzed. It was Jack. Sorry for everything. I love you. Tomorrow I'll send you a complete financial report. And yes, I'll shut down the parties. Please talk soon. I stared at the message. He was trying, but was that enough? As I drifted toward sleep, I set my decision ahead like a milestone. Tomorrow's conversation would determine if we could rewrite our marriage's story on a foundation of honesty, or if I'd walk away to chart my own course. And in that moment, I realized that no matter what, I deserved the whole truth, not just the part he thought I could handle. I woke to the first light of dawn filtering through the curtains at my sister's house. My phone lay on the nightstand, Jack's message blinking. Complete financial report sent. Let's talk at noon. My chest tightened. Noon felt both too soon and too late. I took a deep breath and read the PDF he'd attached. 15 pages of spreadsheets, printouts of every deposit and expense, a reconciliation of Alpha Service and Pro Masterclass accounts with itemized line items for ad spend, platform fees, contractor payments, and gross revenue. He'd even provided copies of his contracts with the overseas team and the terms of service for his program. I closed my eyes, feeling a flicker of hope. He'd finally chosen transparency. Now the hard part, deciding if that was enough to rebuild our life. At 11:45 a.m., I drove back home, replaying in my mind every bittersweet memory of our marriage, the giggles over burnt pancakes, the lullabies late at night, the years of shared dreams. If that foundation could be reset on honesty, I wanted to try. But if the betrayal cut too deep, I needed to know I could step away without regret. I arrived home at 11:55, heart pounding. The house was quiet. I found Jack in the study, sleeves rolled up, papers strewn across the desk. His eyes lifted as I entered. "You came," he said softly. I nodded, taking a seat across from him. The midday sun streamed in, illuminating the stacks of documents. "I read the report," I began, voice steady. "Everything is there. Every dollar, every contract. Thank you for this." He exhaled in relief. "I promised." He leaned forward. "I want you to see exactly what I did, how much I invested before I saw any profit." I opened the binder, scanning the sheets. He detailed $120,000 spent on Facebook ads, $85,000 on platform development, $45,000 on coaching fees. He'd netted $620,000 in revenue over 6 months with a profit margin of 35%. I swallowed, feeling the weight of the numbers. Our former mortgage, his vacation savings, our emergency fund, all dwarfed by this secret fortune. I looked at him. "You've built something incredible," I said, "but you built it without me." My voice caught. I felt invisible in my own marriage. He nodded, pain in his eyes. "I know." I closed my eyes for a moment. Then I opened them, meeting his gaze. "I have questions," I said. "Real ones." He nodded. "Ask." I leaned forward. "Why did you start?" He paused, choosing his words. "After the layoffs, I felt useless. I didn't know how to provide beyond my corporate role. When I discovered dropshipping, it promised control over my income and my destiny. But I got addicted to the rush." He looked down. "I didn't want you to see me chasing that, so I hid it." I nodded slowly. "Why did you continue to hide it once it succeeded?" He glanced away. "Fear of losing you. I worried you'd leave if you thought I was turning into someone else." He looked back. "Ironically, the secrecy almost did lose you." I took a deep breath. "I think I can forgive you for starting it. You chased your dream. But hiding it for 6 months, lie after lie, hurt me badly. I need to know you'll never do that again." He reached across and took my hand. "I give you my word, full transparency. No more secrets. I'll set up joint access to all my accounts. You'll get weekly reports, and I'll hold monthly business overviews with you." His thumb brushed my knuckles. "I want you on this journey with me." I felt tears welling, not of sorrow, but of relief that he was finally inviting me into his world. "Okay," I whispered. "I want to be part of it." He nodded, smile trembling with gratitude. We spent the next hour mapping out our new partnership, joint dashboard, a shared Google Sheet tracking revenue, expenses, and upcoming launches, weekly sync. Every Monday morning over coffee, we'd review the previous week's performance, quarterly strategy retreats, a weekend away, just the two of us, to brainstorm growth, and personal goals, personal boundaries, nights without business calls during dinner and family time. As we wrote each bullet point, the house felt lighter, old shadows lifting. That afternoon, we sat on the porch with Chloe building a fort from blankets and chairs. Jack pointed to our shared screen on my tablet, showing the dashboard's first live entries. "Look," he said, "you can see real pace." I tapped the screen. Our first official profit share, 15% to operations, 10% to savings, 10% for us to spend on something special. Chloe ran up and hugged my leg, her giggle a reminder of what truly mattered. I smiled at Jack. "I'd like to use our 10% on a family trip to show Chloe the mountains." He gathered us into a hug. "Deal." That evening, after bedtime stories, we sat together in our study, savoring the success of our new collaboration. "Thank you for believing in us," he said. He leaned in, kissing my temple. "I promise this is just the beginning." I rested my head on his shoulder. "Just the beginning," I echoed. And in that quiet room, surrounded by the glow of our shared future, I knew that although our marriage had been tested by deception, it had emerged stronger, founded on honesty, mutual respect, and the shared dream we now both built together.